Hello and welcome to this edition of Crossover. I'm Ji Xiaojun with Charlotte and Julian, and today we've got more stories to share with our viewers. And the first one, it's basically about the honor guards. You know, when a state leader comes to China to visit, there's always this formal ceremony to welcome the state leader, and you will see the lines of honor guards saluting to the state leaders. We've got some pictures to show you. Yeah, this is for the parade for the National Day.
I'm always amazed how
they're just so impressive. You know, these honor soldiers, or you know, depending on what your country, specific country calls them, they're just so impressive. They're so in unison.
Unbelievable.
Really. Makes me feel safe.
Tiananmen Square. And just look, I mean, the first impression, the first point that I'm impressed a lot is the height of these people. It's all between 180 to 190. It's 1.8 meters or 1.9 meters. It's all between these two figures.
It's between roughly 6 feet and 6'3" or 6'2" something. So, but it's 6'2.5". But it's, I remember when they were selecting even the female soldiers, I don't know the exact name for them, but we saw them on the last parade, also the 60th anniversary.
Honor guards?
I'm not sure it's the honor guards, but I remember that the size was even, the gap was even closer. It was roughly all between 170 and 176 or something like that.
Well, it's a very, I mean, they have very specific criteria for this specific position, and in the military.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to qualify.
I mean, this is one of the benefits of a huge country with a huge population. You know, you have a huge pool to choose from.
I suppose
you can saying that a lot.
Really pick the cream of the crop, because there's a huge selection.
But, to be acting like these people in such a unison, it's not a easy job, and the training must be harsh for all these people. And just want to share with you some figures. Okay, these are some pictures to share with you first, and just look at their shoes.
Wow.
It's 7 shoes each year. 7 pairs of shoes or boots.
That they go through each year.
Each year.
Wow.
That's not even 2 months for a pair.
Because they exercise very hard. And talking about blinking, your eyes blink a lot. And for us, it's maybe one blink for 5 to 10 seconds. But for them, it's 40 seconds. No blinking.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I'm like that too. I think I'm naturally like that. Friend, you know,
Are you saying you want to be one of the honor guards? You're qualified to be like that.
No, I want to.
You're tall enough.
I want to keep my shoes for a few years.
You don't blink often.
I don't blink often. Well, you can observe, especially when I talk to you.
Yeah, you don't blink.
I don't blink.
I blink because I wear contact lenses.
Okay.
So they'll get dry if I don't blink.
I've been told that before when I was doing some like acting on TV series or movies, and the director would say, "But can you be natural?" I say, "I'm being natural." Yes, but you're not blinking. And I've done some shows too, and you have to, you know, some of the TV shows you host, you have to read on the, how do you call it, the prompter? The teleprompter. And they were thinking that I was not blinking because I was looking at that. And I say, no, when I'm looking to somebody or looking to the camera, I don't blink that much. So I think 40 seconds is maybe.
So Julian would be a good fit.
Yeah.
How tall are you?
You have the height. You have this 40-second now.
Yes, but I don't have the body condition.
Let's work on that.
Let's move on to another number. Well, this is very impressive. It's well, the number is 1 ton. What is this about?
What is this about?
This is the sweat for 1 year's training.
1 ton?
A ton of sweat.
A ton of
How
sweat.
do they measure that?
I don't know. It should be.
That is a good question.
How do they measure that?
I would think that it should be measured in volume actually, and not in.
Well, but by how much you
But volume
weight?
and
It's
weight,
nearly the same. 1
Weight,
liter, roughly
I
1
suppose.
kilogram, but
So it's
Wow.
So it's like 1,000 liters per year.
Anyway, it's 1 ton of sweat.
That's more than a liter a day. That's like 3 liters a day.
Well, this next number is 8,000 kilometers.
How far they walk.
For training.
Yeah,
each year.
that I am sure is very measurable.
So this is,
I believe that.
This is roughly also about 25 kilometers a day, or.
Then you imagine why they would need 7 pairs of shoes
Oh
each year.
yeah, especially shoes like that aren't hiking boots. You know, they're not shoes that are made for.
It's not just walk. I mean, they do this kind of goose steps and this
special
ceremonial steps.
Special marching
steps. And the next number is 12,000 kilometers. Remember those march steps in the real parades or welcoming ceremonies for state leaders, and they do those goose steps of march steps, and that's the distance they cover for their whole, say, career.
Wow.
This is pretty impressive. But I understand, you know, I was a musician. I can tell you that if you want to get an orchestra, it's roughly the same number of people, a few dozens or 100 or more than 100, all together. I mean, obviously, you're a trained musician, you have, you know, at least 10 years or 20 years of practice or more, but it's still all those years of practice to be all together.
Yeah.
So it's very, very tough.
In
you
unison.
see, you know, even in dance troupes, you see the dance troupes all dancing together, and they have steps which are all, there's always a little thing that is not exactly in
sync.
place.
Yeah.
There are a few countries, very, very few, in terms of like art. Russia is one. In terms of rhythm, Spain is unbelievable too. They have like the perfect rhythm altogether.
Well, to be perfection always is connected with how much effort you put into practicing. And that's why we say in the art circle that 1 minute on stage takes 10 years off stage.
Yes, that's a very sort of saying in Chinese you hear quite frequently.
So it's actually, you think of this in the military side of it. It's actually an interesting part of the military training that is actually a little closer to art, because it's not easy to be all in rhythm, and there's no music that, you know.
And they've achieved a lot. I mean, the final result is in 58 years they've served about 3,200 times of these kind of ceremonies or parades. No single mistake ever.
Wow.
58
Wow. That's, I think, the most impressive number.
Yeah, that's
there
why
has
we keep
never
it in the
once
last.
Been a mistake.
No mistake in 58 years.
I'm impressed.
But I mean, these honor guards, we don't see that much that often. But one group of honor guards we do see, if you want, we can see every day. That's the honor guards for the national flags, you know, because we in Beijing at the Tiananmen Square, we have this national flag raising ceremony every day, and every day you'll see lots of people gathered around the national flag pole just to witness that ceremony.
The raising of the flag, and then also taking the flag down.
Yeah,
I can tell you that it's for them, it's a big honor to be selected to be the one that will
raise the
flag. I'm not sure if it's only one person or
3 people.
3 people. So these 3 are
3 people accompanied by a huge group of orchestra.
Well, a band, they say in those terms. Yeah, in those terms.
I would say for anyone visiting Beijing, or even for people living in Beijing who haven't had the chance to see either the raising of the flag in Tiananmen Square or the taking the flag down, it's worth seeing.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like the change of guards. I mean, other cities, other countries.
Oh yes, at Buckingham Palace when they switch the guards.
Sure.
That's fun.
Yeah, I've been to
watch.
Prague in Czech Republic. I went there to see the change of guards.
And one of the big attractions too is to see the people who are there, because the whole atmosphere is different.
We'll take a short break, and when we come back, more stories to share with you.
過啦，
就轉紅燈啦！
快2步啦！哎呀，
俾你嚇死我啦！你估次次都咁好彩咩？燈又唔睇，有天橋又唔行，企又企到出得出，同啲車鬥快，仲以為自己好敏捷添。
我賽跑冠軍嚟㗎嘛！
我知50年前啊嘛，你唔顧自己都顧下個孫啦。 個孫咁錫你，萬一有咩事，喊死佢啊！
我會改㗎啦。
And welcome back to Crossover. Next is, the next story is more to do with the traditional Chinese festival. Is sometimes labeled as the Chinese version of Valentine's Day.
Oh.
It's the Qixi Festival.
Qixi Festival.
It falls on the 7th day of the 7th lunar month.
I was performing crosstalks on the official ceremony this year of the Shanxi province because there's one city there that is supposedly the
birthplace of that legend?
The birthplace of that legend, but obviously it's a legend, so it didn't actually happen there. But it's it's supposed to be. They have every year that festival there.
Basically, a simple story, but a tragedy story. It's it's a love story between a cowherd and a fairy.
So it's an impossible
She
love
happened
story.
to be on Earth, taking a bath, as said, together with her sisters. But obviously, this is not a idea supported by her mother in heaven.
So
And she fell in love with the cowherd?
Exactly.
Yes, and the celestial powers are against it. But at the end, their love was so true and transcendent and everything that it also touched the powers. And they allowed them to meet every year at that moment. So this became the festival.
Oh, there are many Greek myth stories along those lines and stuff.
Yes.
as well.
And last part of the story, this is the most romantic part of the story. They were allowed to meet on a bridge that was made by some kind of birds.
Sparrows.
Sparrows, yes. So it was.
That is very romantic.
And if you look up in the sky, you'll see two stars. One is the star of the weaver. One is the star of the cowherd.
On this night.
So
this
is
is lovely.
Yeah, this is for
So I mean,
astrology
this is
lovers.
actually another match with the science. It's because in that day in the sky, on the 7th day of the 7th lunar month, you see the change of those stars.
The constellations shift a
Exactly.
little. And I have to say, though, with Qixi, with what a lot of people are now calling Chinese Valentine's Day, it seems to have made a comeback in recent years.
Exactly.
But maybe even 5-10 years ago, it wasn't really celebrated at all.
Even I remember we were performing that because we have a whole crosstalk about that, and we have had this one for 10 years. We were performing that even 5 years ago, and we weren't invited to the Qixi festival and everything.
Well,
and it's been the recent years.
The comeback all started with the commercial considerations. Again, I mean, it's just like in many cases in many countries. And that's why it's labeled from the very beginning of this comeback. This is the Chinese Valentine's Day. So why should we celebrate the Western festival Valentine's Day? We have our own Valentine's Day. This is the Qixi festival. But again, these years we've also noticed some changes. Western Valentine's Day is more about, say, the chocolates or flowers, roses, and these stuff could be very expensive, extremely expensive.
And a romantic dinner.
But I
Even more
have
expensive.
to say, sorry to interrupt, but on just this past Qixi, not too long ago, flowers were, I don't know, triple, quadruple the price that they were on other days.
What we are seeing, what we've noticed actually in this year, maybe also last year, people are bringing back the traditional ways of celebrating this festival back to life. So it's not only a revival of the festival, it's the way of celebration of this celebration.
So what is it?
Revisiting tradition also.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, traditionally it's more, remember one of the key characters of this festival, of this legend, is a weaver. So it represents that what women would do for their loved ones. It's more about the weaving, about making stuff and personal stuff for your loved ones.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, this is great.
So what would be a traditional gift then to give someone on Qixi in China?
Anything you made actually with your own hands. Some
homemade, something homemade.
Yes.
These days you can have your own interpretation. If you're something personal, something with your
like
love
that.
in it, maybe a little bag, handmade bag or something like that.
Oh, I like that.
We don't know.
This is,
I like that.
That means you have to make one for your husband.
I will.
This is beautiful.
year.
This is beautiful to come back to those traditions. And one thing to answer to what you said about people having some comments about since we are recovering the Chinese way, we don't need the St. Valentine's Day. But you can say the same thing for Christmas or New Year, the Western New Year. Why do you have to celebrate it in China when you and when you have the Chinese New Year? And also then there are tons of Halloween is a huge thing in the big cities in China now. The Halloween parties in Beijing and bars, everyone having his own kind of disguise. This is great to have.
Yeah, but festivals are festivals in most cases. I mean, this is really just an occasion where we can have fun, to be together with our friends, to find a little reason to have a great meal.
Well, or to
receive presents.
Yeah, to give the person you love a little present. I mean, that's nice. Or to receive a present.
But we do see a comeback of the traditional festivals these years in China, like the Qixi Festival, like Duanwu Festival.
Yes, the Dragon Boat
Qingming Festival when you mourn the ancestors, remember the ancestors.
And I think it's a kind of big cultural revival of the whole China as a country. I mean, it's a great thing to see, because for many years we've been saying that Chinese people have been saying to me too, that as Chinese we don't feel that confident, we haven't developed like your countries for that many years, and we've always kind of felt that we had to study from the West and study all their traditions and everything, and whereas us Westerners, we were attracted to China because of Chinese culture, because of their tradition and everything. And we have been saying all the way along that what we want to see is not the Western way, because we do it better in the West. We want to see the Chinese culture and traditions the Chinese way. And now we see that, and we are the first ones actually to kind of jump in the bandwagon and say, oh, this is a great tradition. We'll do presents like this. Okay, if I have to make something with my hands, I'll do it.
It's always nice to try new things.
Absolutely.
To try the new lifestyles.
Absolutely.
And I guess this is true not only to the Chinese nation, but also to other cultures, people in other countries. And this is also a huge boost for the business these days.
I'm sure. And just keeping this sort of cultural tradition alive and reviving it too it's great. And it's a pattern, that happens in every country and every culture around the world. But I'm really glad to see it's happening here as well, because it's great.
Do you know how many festivals there are in China alone?
I don't know that.
All included, they have numbers.
I don't know that it's ever been really counted.
Are you talking about this Jie, the festival?
No, not Jie, like the real Jie, all kinds of
the festivals that we celebrate.
All included, all nationalities included,
How
all cultures
many,
included.
Julian? Tell us.
More than 3,000 in China.
That
alone.
I'm not aware of, but we celebrate some major ones like the Spring Festival, the Lantern Festival, Duanwu Festival, Qingming Festival, and Mid-Autumn Festival coming very soon.
That's
in
right.
late September this year. One more story to share with you, but before I tell you the story, a picture to share with you. This is a bridge linking Guangdong province in the south and Hong Kong. And just look at the shape of the bridge. I want you to focus on the zigzagging part of the bridge and why it is put in that way. They put it in that way for a reason. It's mainly to do with the driving habits of the two places. Remember, in Hong Kong, they drive on the left.
Of course.
And on the mainland, we drive on the right.
Of course.
So it's
on I guess on Hong Kong side. Just to give people that impression you're driving on the left side, which is the right side for Hong Kong people. But on the mainland side, they switch the two roads where the drivers don't have to change the routes. But, somehow you got that impression you're changing to the right side.
It's pretty complicated.
Be very difficult for just a person's mind. I think that's brilliant. Now that I know that's brilliant.
Because you drive both directions, and at the same time you have
No, it's not. You remember, that's actually two lanes the two bridges, they are two directions of traffic.
You get switched, in other words.
Yeah.
By going on this bridge, you switch to the other side of the road, correct?
But you don't switch lanes. It's basically
Right.
Okay.
But
the lanes switch directions for you.
It's much simpler than what it sounded.
You don't have to think about it.
I was thinking too hard.
Oh, that's brilliant. Although I can't imagine, to have to do that, because a lot of people will travel from Guangdong to Hong Kong on a daily or weekly basis anyway by car.
A lot of people have both.
That's a really difficult switch to be making all the time.
Yeah, but again, well, I mean, these are the professional drivers. I guess they won't have the problem. But at the same time, it's a great invention, solving the problem, drive on the right side or left side. But again, the wheel is still on the same side.
Well,
that's going to be
true.
a problem. And talking about bridges, there is a long bridge, and I guess that could be the longest bridge in the world. It's the one linking Shanghai and Zhejiang, because they are kind of crossing the mouth of one of the rivers over there. It's crossing the sea surface. It could be could be dozens of kilometers, or at least over 10 kilometers.
I'm always amazed at those big constructions. There's a show on the US TV. I don't remember what it's called, but it's about everything big. Big trains, big tractors that have wheels. The wheel is as high as this room. It's unbelievable. Like,
it's big.
You see a man next to it, and you're. And everything big constructions, big bridges
just like
too.
in Transformers, you've been seated.
Exactly, big bridges too, and it's amazed. I'm always amazed when I think every time, even building a railroad, building a highway, building those things. How much work? How many people? How they do that and manage to still keep everything going on at the same time in the region.
It's complicated.
Very impressive.
And talking about that bridge, the longest bridge, is now been somehow turned into a tourist spot. And because people just want to go there, try it, and see it, and what it's like.
They stop their car like this in the middle?
But they do stop the car to take pictures. And it's been considered by the designers because they build special platforms for sightseeing.
That was
You can actually stop there. But not too many cars, though.
You can park your car.
And we have some more pictures to show you. It's all about these amazing bridges the world over. This is the Henderson Waves in Singapore.
Wow.
It is indeed a wave.
Very cool.
It is for pedestrians. It's not for cars.
Well, so I went to Singapore, but I didn't see this one. I'm thinking for pedestrians, does it move also when you step on it?
I'm not quite sure, but it looks nice.
Very
though.
cool. Very
cool.
Okay, next one. It is also a bridge, and this is like a stadium built into this bridge, and this is the Mustang in Graz, Austria.
This is like a big snail.
It is, and this is not only a bridge, this is also like connecting point where you can rest, have a little coffee, and even
take a break.
Exactly.
Very interesting.
Is it like a snail? If you want to cross the bridge, you actually have to do a few circles.
No,
and then get through.
Yeah, it should be nice.
I don't think so.
But that would be a waste of time.
It's just well designed.
It'd be for the fun of it.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of these amazing bridges, and maybe there is a highest one that you basically see this bridge in cloud because this is so high, and all those bridges in Shanghai, they're also very impressive enough. And have you ever tried to climb maybe up to the top of the